Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good night, actually. It's 8:01 p.m., October 24th, 2021. It's Sunday, and I am here in Sri Lanka. I am currently just finishing up the previous video on USD CHF, GBP CAD, and Euro GBP. So if you missed that video, please go and check out my previous video. It's the most recent one before this one. I also missed out on Gbpjpy on that video, so I'm going to actually introduce that on this video. I'm going over three pairs as well on this video, so stay tuned, guys. I hope you have the patience, you have the trust to believe in me as well. I know trading in this industry can be very shady. It can be very crazy as well. There's a lot of wild characters out there. There's a lot of false misconception. It's just a big puzzle piece you have to put together, but I promise you, if you stick with me and you just follow up with my methods, my strategies, watch my videos, and just go on your journey and just follow what I teach, there's no doubt. I mean, one day I'll see you at the top, hopefully. No guarantees, though. I mean, you got to put in the work. Well, yeah, let's get into GJ. Right now, I see a very, very, really nice long opportunity in GJ if we can close above 156.2. But at the moment, I don't really think that I would really look for longs at the moment. It looks like it ripped through and created a drive to the downside on Friday. That's what we're actually going to keep our eyes on right now. So let me just delete all of the indicators and we can get started on this. So I'm going to go from a down up analysis. I know a lot of your mentors say they're going to do a top down, but I mean, if you understand price action, you can read it. You could definitely do a down top analysis. So that's what we're going to do on this video right now. Looking at the 15-minute, I want to mark my zones real quick because I see some areas of confluence on the 15-minute right here. So we see right there. I'm just going to mark these off. Some right there. I don't really consider that a major area, so I'm just going to leave it alone. And that's all I really see on the 15-minute is just one major area. You guys see that, right? I literally only marked off one major area. If I were to do a second potential area, it'd be right there. But to be honest, that's not major. There's one major area. Price went up, crashed once, crashed twice, crashed three times, went for a failed attempt, and it just started melting from there. The second one, I'll leave it alone for now. So let's move on up to 30-minute time frame, see if we see anything else that's in aligned with that. I see another area right above here. It hit about once, crash, twice, crash, three times, crash, and you see how it's struggling above. So we're going to mark it right about there. This is just an average, guys, so just bear with me. Now looking at the 4-hour time frame, it's like, whoa, where did all the areas of confluence go? Exactly, that's right, because there is none right now. Where you are melting. This is the only potential area. That's minor, guys. So don't pay any mind to this. Price dipped down into that area once, and that was a warning sign. And the second time, it did not hold up. It just crashed. So we are in a melting pot on GJ. And all of those buyers, bear with me just a moment, have food at the door. I apologize for that, everyone, but I'm back. So I want to just clear everything up. So I was just explaining that price is definitely going to be looking to pick up some downside momentum. At this very point is probably where it's going to start to struggle. You're going to see a lot of retail sellers starting to realize that the market is actually bearish for the time. So that's where we're going to mark up our first key level. Now, I don't believe this is going to sustain if we're looking at a drop for the long term, but I do believe it's still long-term bullish, but it is due for a correction. And believe me, it's probably going to pick up in momentum to the downside over the course of the next week or so, just so we can start to drive into that, because there's no area of struggle anywhere right now. So just like you guys seen the past couple of days of last week, last couple of days, it dropped 90 plus pips. And for GJ, I mean, coming out of that range where it was averaging, 51, what was this ATR? About 115 pips, surprisingly. But yeah, I mean, it was averaging about 115 pips in that range. And then, yeah, this is the 4 hour. I apologize for that, guys. But yeah, in about 8 hours, it dropped 100 pips. So upon open, looking back to the micro scale now, since we have a direction, you guys can see a little bit more clarity after I just broke it all down. That price is definitely, there's nowhere to really look for a, resistance, not for a while. So, I mean, if you do take a market order sell, just suspect that there's potentially 160 pips worth of a stop loss. And in that case, it might be great buying opportunity for GJ if there's that wide of a stop. So, if the bias is already fully bearish, I would like to find a tighter stop because that's kind of ridiculous. That's kind of ridiculous right now. 160 pip stop is way too large for what I'm looking for. So what else can we see? There is a potential resistance about 75 pips away, but that's minor. So I wouldn't really fully rely on that either. I wouldn't try to hold a order for that type of setup. So I mean, we can only really look at this one right here, the 74 pip drive, the last drive to the lows. And that's something that you might have to look at on the 5 minute time frame. And looking at the 5 minute time frame, we can see that price just kind of set up a little mini range for Sunday. So my thesis for this is that we would have to wait until the market opens on Sunday and see where price starts to print. Because one thing it could do is it could start to print towards the upside, struggle about 25, 30 pips away, and then start to create some sort of downside momentum where then we could go look into the 5 minutes and add on to some sort of wave to the downside, make a nice reasonable stop, 30, 40 pips above, and then take the price down. That's what I think that I'm going to do on Sunday. And one thing that would trigger me to actually continue this going down is actually if I see momentum pick up and I see a full solid close down below 155.8, then I'll definitely look for some sort of sell stop, and then I'll place my stop loss about 50 to 60 pips higher at some sort of resistance area that will be built at that point. But for me right now, there's no way that I'm going to make a 160 pip stop loss. That's just way too wide for me. So I hope I broke that down very clear for you all. So we're just going to have to monitor GBP, JPY. And now let's get into GBP We can see that GA is actually climbing up on the 30-minute. I don't know how long that's going to last, but it did break new structure highs. And this did spike up briefly about 60 pips, and then it spiked down. It was kind of choppy on the end of the day. So looking at analysis, I'm going to clear this chart up so we can all have a fresh look at things. And let's just do the top down just to switch it back up. I want to see. So there's highs right here, and the top down should be very easy once you get familiar with the down up analysis. But yeah, we could just mark up some zones right here. Here. It's very easy, very simple, like I said. Okay, and then there's the key level right there. So going into the 30-minute time frame, we can see price was climbing up, then it got shot down. GA, I'm actually bearish on this. I tried to go for some buys, yes, on Friday, and it actually stopped me out and indicated price was going to drop. So this was just a pull back towards those highs, stop hunt. You can see a very clear stop loss area. If you did have stops anywhere up here, you would have got jacked up just right in time for price to go back to the downside. That's exactly what it's doing now. It's just testing that area. Should break there. So looking at a break maybe 15 pips away, break up from these lows back to the downside. That's when we're going to see a potential drive. I don't believe this is any type of support right here. I do believe price is going to crash through, hit up those stop losses of these long-term holders from the 21st. not really long term, but for this trend, and continue on downwards. I don't see price going to the upside. If it does, then we're going to be looking at a potential stop loss around 100 pips away. So if you want to take a swing trade, this would be your setup right here. Entry on market, stop loss about 110 pips away, and continuation drive to the downside. Now, how far is this going to continue? I'm looking at the daily right now. Probably take it down each step of the way. So I would like to see a daily close about 150 pips away at the lows of 1.8247, and then I would like to see a follow through after that daily close. I would like to see some sort of pattern, and yeah, there's a nice burst to the downside if price continues to go down at that point. But what could also happen is price could just tap that low and then start to move on back up. So that's why I said take it every step of the way. That's GA for you all. And finally, last but not least, I'm running out of breath, but bear with me. Euro USD. I want to break this down as the final pair and go from there into the week. So Euro USD, we can see that it made new structure highs. It definitely looks like it's going to be going up just for a brief moment. I don't believe it's sustainable. This is minor area right here. It just shot down, and then this is a minor area right here because it didn't really fall that much lower after hitting there. So that's just a minor area. I want to delete that. It's that simple. I want to zoom out so I can see more of the chart. And to be honest, this is the only real area right here. So we can see it's actually climbing up. And it's been climbing up for the past 64 pips. So where can we see a potential drive? I mean, price did close above these highs, indicating that it will be going, signaling that it will be going higher. So at this point, I'm not looking for shorts. And what you're going to see a lot of these retail mentors doing is, and I want you guys to spot this type of stuff, is, you might see them telling you to take a short from this high, going down to some lows, hitting retail stops down low, and then that's just not, I don't know. It's not really valid, guys. There's more to price action trading than just a simple, baby pips lessons that these guys are teaching. And I'm trying to expose you all to the realities of the chart. And yes, it can be read, but only by the very small percentage of traders that actually went through the grit, seen the wrong way, and actually managed to overcome those hardships and unlearn what they learned and relearn it in a better way. So that's what we're seeing right now. Potential 72 pip rally to the highs. I do see potential crash zone right around there. So that's about 59 pips away. That's still a good profit taking zone. I mean, just wait, take profit there around before that red line and just wait for some sort of confirmation to keep going up. And if it does, then we're going to take it every 45 pips of the way. So you see 45 pips up, there's another area, and then we're going to just keep on taking it up. But I do see price holding. And if I were to place a stop loss, pretty much, I mean, my stop loss, I would have to go for 100 pips if I'm swinging it. But if I'm going to day trade it, I will have to just wait, see what Sunday night prints out, and then I'll take it from there. So we might see some sort of Sunday move going back to the downside. From what it looks like right now, it could potentially be doing just that, making a move to the downside, and it could be revisiting, the lows of 1.15. There's no doubt about that. I don't really think this is strong support. So when I do look at the 30-minute time frame, I do see an area right here. I'm going to mark it off as minor because look, at price crashed down weak. That's not strong. Crash down. That's the first strong push. Crash down. Second minor push. So as you can see, this is just a minor area of support right here, and we're not going to take it too seriously. So if price does come down there, maybe I'll look for another entry past that area, going back into the area. But my ultimate stop loss for this, definitely not going to be there. And I won't put it right there neither, because if it goes there, it's definitely going to keep going further down. So like I said, I wouldn't be trading this on market, and this would only hold up if there's a new high that is printed on Monday. So if I do see some sort of new high about 50 pips away, around 1.167, then I could put my stop loss maybe around 1.16072. That would be a solid trade into this, solid swing into this. But uh, I'm actually going to make tighter stops. So I'm looking at these lows as continuing to hold up, and I'm actually looking for a potential sunny move to break the highs of 1.165. And at that point, we're going to see some sort of trend form, and then be able to place maybe like a 30, 40 pip stop loss, which is much better, and take it on up from there. So that's all I have to really break down with for you guys. Hopefully, I got everything marked down. I got the directional bias of everything, and I'm very excited. Like I said, looking forward to this next trading week. We can just recap one last time. Euro USD definitely going on a downtrend, but a lot of retail sellers, what they do is they end up entering a sell, thinking it's going to go down right upon their entry. But look at this is a daily chart. This is a daily bar, and these are weeks. So what's going to happen is that one trader is going to be waiting. It's going to wonder why isn't it going in his favor for the past couple weeks, and then they're going to have stop losses right around here, and just in the foolish areas. I mean, if you're holding a trade for weeks, you can't really rely on a 30, 40 pip stop loss to hold up. If you're holding a trade for weeks, more than likely you're going to have hundreds of pips worth of stop loss. So a reasonable stop for this person would have probably been about 328 pips, and I would not be aiming for that target anyways. So this seller right here is looking for a much longer term. This is just something extra I'm adding into this video for you guys to all to see. One of the biggest mistakes most retail traders make without even noticing. But yes, it's going to keep going down, but it's going to take several weeks, if not months, for that down move to really play out. So what might happen in the course of that is there might be pullbacks, and this might be one of those moves back to the upside. I mean, let me highlight one example in the past before I go. You can see that this is a successful downtrend right here, right? What happened along the way, though? You knew price was going to go down from the close of down here way back when. Let me zoom out. We knew price was going to go down. The close below here, we knew price was going to go down, but it's going to take time because this is a weekly time frame, and there's also things that could potentially happen. It could rip price back to the upside. So that's exactly what happened. It's down and up. It didn't even go all the way. So if you didn't take profit along the way, then you'll definitely would have been upset because it would have came back up at some point a couple of years later. So that's why taking profit along the way is important, and reading price action on every time frame is important, and being able to understand it. You would have definitely been in and out when you were wrong, and then been able to get in at better times and out when you were right. And it's been a nice progression to the downside. It's a process. This is the process, and this is the aftermath. So we're seeing another one of those set up right now. It's the process, but right now we're not going down just yet. So definitely take time, and I am going to then look for some potential shorts when price does get up to these areas. When it gets 46 pips away, that's a minor area. Like I said, I do believe it's going to continue going up. So I definitely look for a short setup about 200 pips away. It could be before then, but that's going to be like the next area. So I'm definitely still bearish, but it would be foolish, like I said, for a day trader to be holding a bear move 300 pips, stop loss. It's just foolish. I'm a day trader, so bearish, but definitely going to be bullish for some time. All right, everyone. Hopefully that was a smooth video into this week, and I'll follow with you all Monday.